What's going down, everybody, and welcome back to another Top 5 in 5 right here on Commander Cookout. Today, we're looking at the top 5 commanders of the last 2 years on EDH. I want to talk a little bit about why they're popular and maybe what you can play that might be a little bit spicier instead. Before we get to it though, don't forget patreon.com/CCO Podcast. If you want to help contribute to lists like this, if you want to be part of our community, that's where you go. Find a reward tier. And don't forget, if you want to pick up any of the cards today, FusionGamingOnline.com. Use CCO Spring or CCO Perks promo codes to get yourself a discount. Now, Number 5, Kenrith the Returned King. No secret here, he's good in casual, he's good in CEDH, he's good with infinite mana, he's 5 color. What else can I say? Play anything else if you want to play a 5 color good stuff deck. Just find anything that's 5 color. Number 4, most popular commander of all time in the last 2 years, the Dragon. No secret here either. Great in Dragon Tribal, makes dragons cheaper, draws you cards, hits for a ton of damage. You could maybe try Scion of the Dragon if you want to do some graveyard stuff. There's some combos there, you can look those up. You could try the new Tiamat from one of the Dungeons and Dragons sets. That's flavorful. You can include maybe some places that you go in the Forgotten Realms or in Baldur's Gate. You could include thematic lands. There are options beside the Dragon, but the Dragon probably is regarded as the most powerful 5 color dragon, and that's why it's the most popular, but you could play those other couple. Next up, number 3 all time, this is Yuriko, the Tiger's Shadow. I think that everybody does super high casting cost and or ninjutsu, maybe both, maybe one or the other, and I think that that's a fine strategy, but all of those decks start to look and feel the same. Oh, it's another Yuriko deck. Everybody's gonna say that when you want to play this deck. What I would suggest playing instead would be Satoru Umezawa. A little bit hard to say. We've got a deck list. It'll either be up in the corner here or down in the show notes below. One of the more popular decks we've done in the last little while. It had some ninjutsu stuff, and it had all the little tricks that you can employ with Satoru giving random stuff in your hand ninjutsu. Way more fun, way more room to be creative and do something that somebody doesn't expect. Even though you're doing the same kind of thing every time and or ninjutsuing every time, you can find cool things that people haven't seen before, and I think that is the way to go. Number 2, Lathril, Blade of the Elves. Now this came in the Golgari Elf Precon from a couple years back, and I think that this is an excellent commander. It's a good finisher. It's an elf. It's in the elf colors. You can do Elf Ball. If you want to try something different though, I recommend Gak Daddy. Get on the Hogak train. Hogak lets you do all the graveyard stuff, all the delve stuff. You can still play Elf Ball, but instead of having like this kind of weird tap 10 untapped elves thing, you've got to play Hogak from your graveyard and hit for 8 thing, which is very close if Hogak has haste, or if you've got the Elf Ball rolling and you're just planning to kill with Pathbreaker Ibex or Crater Hoof Behemoth. Hogak will put a smile on your friend's face. It will feel better than just dying to Lathril again. So cannot recommend Hogak enough. And the final number 1 over the last 2 years, reigning supreme on top of EDH again, Atraxa. Of course it is. It always will be because it's generically good. If you want to play something that I think might be just as generically good, I highly recommend Averna the Chaos Bloom. Sure, you're trading the 4 colors that Atraxa is for a 3-color Averna deck, but you do get to do all the cool cascade stuff that Averna wants you to do, and that's a ton of fun because you never know what you're going to get. And if you're playing Atraxa because you're wanting to play lots of Planeswalkers and proliferate, again, I highly recommend Averna because you can use her cascade ability to dig through your deck to find specifically CMC'd or mana valued Planeswalkers. I've got a deck, again, link up here or in the show notes below, one of our most popular decks of all time on Commander Cookout. Cannot recommend it enough. And speaking of not recommending enough, I cannot recommend that you become a patron to help us pick lists like this. Find a reward tier that's right for you. Link in the show notes. Head on over to FusionGamingOnline.com. I recommend that you use CCO Spring promo code. Get yourself 5% off your whole dang order and let everybody at Fusion know that their relationship with Commander Cookout is a good one. See you next time.